Today's training is really about Power BI, and is a training for beginners. By implication, it means that Power BI is really on multiple levels. You know, there's a beginner's class. In fact, there's a mid-level class and there's the advanced class. And, you know, you have all sorts of classes even for developers, you know, who can then make some developments and build it on Power BI so that it makes Power BI more interactive and to deliver a lot more value. Okay, but today's class is really for beginners. So if you want to learn more, there are training facilities available online that you can use to build your competence and improve yourself in the use of Power BI. Okay, so again, today we're going to be looking at introduction to Power BI. We're going to also look at introduction. Of course, we're going to start with the introduction to business and data analysis. That is very important. We'll look at introduction to Power BI. They'll look at the 4 phases of a Power BI project. The phase 1 really, which is about data discovery. Phase 2 is data modeling. Phase 3 is data visualization. And phase 4 is data sharing phase. Okay, so we're going to go through those phases and then we'll conclude the training for today. So, but before we even talk about the Power Platform, it's important that we look at what this Power BI is all about and its importance to organizations. All right, so Power BI, basically what it does is that, of course, it uses the organization's data and provides insights so that executives can use the insight to make business decisions. Now, in today's world of big data, where there's data everywhere, organizations have data in different systems, from the Excel worksheet to the SQL database to sometimes Oracle database, and then with some other applications, you know. So it's possible that you have data in different locations and you've got to pull this data together in such a way that you can get insight into the data that you have and make business decisions. Okay, so if that's the purpose of the Power BI, but you need people with certain competencies to have this conversation. So, of course, you need the business analyst. The business analyst is the person that has the conversation with the executives to have an insight into what they require to make the business decisions. So what the business analyst tends to do is to understand and capture the minds of the executives and translate this business requirement into technology requirement. Okay, so that you know, it can actually not just the job of the business analyst most of the time is not just to meet the needs of the executive, but to even surpass it, because he understands technology enough to know that, look, even what this executive is asking for, he should be able to do much more to make it, to aid his job, his decision-making capability. So that's the job of the business analyst. And then, of course, the job of the data analyst is also very important. The data analyst within an organization understands where the data is. So he gets the requirement, the technology requirement from the business analyst. And of course, he should be able to discover or determine where all these data are available, what is available, what is not available, and what has to be created. You know, because sometimes when you're trying to drive insights, you may need to create new data or new data, even within Power BI itself, so that you can use it for the purpose of your analysis. So the data analyst job is also very critical in that sense. Then the other thing that the data analyst will do is also to, you know, make the process of gathering the data a lot more efficient than, you know, if sometimes data gathering becomes, because of Power BI project, data gathering becomes complex. It can increase the complexity of the project such that even the value from the project itself may not be worth it at the end of the day. So the data analyst has to understand how this data is gathered in a very efficient and organized manner, such that you can gain value from the Power BI project. All these things are very important in determining the success of a Power BI project. Okay, so so we've got to put that into consideration when we're going into a project like this. The other thing is that the Power BI project, Power BI itself is one of the platforms in the Power Platform. So the Power Platform is made of Power BI, as I've said, and the Power Apps, which is used for application development, the Power Automate, which is a process automation system, and the Power Virtual Agent. That's a new introduction to the Power Platform. Okay, so again, so when you talk about the Microsoft Power Platform, you've got to think in terms of these four platforms. And these four platforms can actually work together to enhance the capability of your systems, of your business, because you can develop new apps, you can automate and make processes efficient, and you can have interactions with third parties, outsiders, using all these tools. Okay, so what is Power BI? Okay, so Power BI is actually is a collection of software services, apps and connectors that work together to turn your unrelated sources of data, into something coherent and virtually immersive and interactive insights. Whether your data is simple Microsoft Excel worksheet, a workbook, or a collection of cloud-based or on-premise hybrid data warehouses, Power BI lets you easily connect to your data sources. You can connect to multiple data sources at the same time, and of course visualize or discover what's important and share that with anyone or everyone you want to. Okay, so that's really what Power BI does. It's about insights, it's about visualization, and it's about decision making. So different people within the organizations will have different requirements. All right. So again, this is basically the Power BI that is open on our screen. So I mean, there are three parts to the Power BI. You have the upper pane, get data. This is what you use to connect to your data sources. Okay, so get data is used to connect to data sources. You also have your transform data. This is used in data transformation. Once you get the data, you want to transform it, you want to mold it, you want to massage it. You can use that to do that. Okay. Then here is where you have the visual pane, the report pane, report view. Underneath the report view is where you have the data view, and then the third one is where you have the model view. So by the time we start working together, you see how all this comes together to give us the insights and the visuals that we want. All right, so we're going to start with the first phase of this training, which is the data discovery phase. Okay, as I said earlier, data discovery phase is the first phase. It involves two things: get data and also transform data. All right. So the first thing we need to do is to get data. All right. So let's get data. If you want to get data, you have to come to get data. And because we are working on Excel sheet, you're coming to Excel workbook. But if you look all the way down, you can see how this system can interact with other data sources or other databases. So you can use Excel, you can get back from even Power BI data sets that are already available within your system. Data flows, data about SQL Server, analysis services, CSV file. You can also get data from the web file or data feed. And you can see also, if you click on more, you can see a lot more. So it's almost impossible not to find your database here within the system. You can see the Google BigQuery, Snowflake is there, is Sbase, where warehouse preview, lake houses. So there's so many of them that is almost unlimited in terms of the systems and databases that this tool can interact with. All right. So in this particular case, we are going to for an Excel worksheet. Okay, our Excel worksheet is stored somewhere on our desktop. Uh, there's an exercise file on my desktop. So you need to know where your you saved your Excel worksheet and said open. Okay, so you can see my Excel is a sales register. So if you have 10 worksheets on the workbook, it's going to show them here in this list. But in this particular case, I have just one worksheet, the sales register. So if you click on sales register, you can preview it. Okay, so I'm previewing my sales register to see the information I have on the sales register. Now, what I'm looking at right now, we have several columns on this sales register, and not all of them will be needed for the purpose of what I want to do. So if I have the option of loading the data into my Power BI or transform the data. Okay, if I load the data, that means everything here goes into my Power BI data set. But that's not what I want. I want to transform it so that I can maneuver and manipulate it so that I can achieve certain ends that I want. If, for example, if I want my system to be efficient, I need to minimize the data that I put into the system. So the data that are not useful to me, I will probably have to eliminate them from my data set. Okay. So instead of loading the data, I will do transform data. Okay, so now you can see the fields. Now I have all these columns on to be loaded, and I'm just looking through, and I'm realizing that some of them I don't need. Okay, so if and this is part of the transformation now that we're starting. Now I want to remove some fields from this. I want to remove some columns that I don't need, so that I don't put unnecessary data on in my Power BI. Okay. So one of the things I can do is to choose columns. So if you want to choose column, you can come up here. You're in the home. Under home, you can see choose columns here. Click on the choose columns here and then choose column. So I mean, this is one of the ways. Okay, it's not the only way. It's one of the ways that you can do it. So I want the document type. I will leave it. The document number, I want to use the document number. The invoice date, the date is important to me. Then the document type, I don't want that. I don't need it for anything. So I'll remove that. Product code, I need the product code. The warehouse, I need the warehouse. No, I don't need the warehouse actually. So I'll remove the warehouse. Hosting group, I don't need it, so I'm removing it as well. Product name, I need the product name. Unit of measure, I need that. Quantity, I need that. Unit price, cost. I don't want the cost price for the purpose of my analysis, so I'm going to remove that as well. VAT, amount including VAT, then the location, I need all that. So I'm just going to load this. Okay, so once I say okay, then you can see that those columns have left my data set. Okay, all the columns that are unticked has left. So I'm left with the data or the columns that I need. Okay, now the other thing that you've got to watch out for, you know, whilst I was making those decisions on the columns I don't need, something was happening on the right hand side of my screen where you see the applied steps. Okay, as you make decisions and transform your data, those steps are being replicated here. So if in case, okay, so in case I made a mistake and I want to reverse that mistake that I made, all I need to do is to remove that particular step and then bring back, it will take you back to the position before the steps you took. So for example, I removed some columns, okay, and I realized that I made a mistake. All I need to do is just, click on this cross here for the last step, remove other column. I'll just click on that and remove that step. And so once you look at all these columns again, you find out that the columns that I removed are back. So it's simple. It's so easy to retrace your step in case you make a mistake. Okay, so I'll do it again and remove those fields. How do I go? Choose columns, click on choose columns, and then remove the fields that I don't need. I remove the type, I removed warehouse, I removed posting group, I removed posting group. What else did I remove? I guess that's all, right? I want location, I want the other ones. Unit of measure, I want product name, I want product code, I want invoice date, I want invoice number, I want document number, document type. Well, I'll just leave that. Yeah, I might just remove document type. I don't want it. Okay, so I don't need it for anything. So, and that's it. And you can see that step is there again. So what I need to now do now is to close and apply. All right, so you can see here under the data, this is where you have the table for your sales register. Okay, now, so we're going to do one other thing that's usually done in a Power BI project, which is your calendar table. So we want to create a new table, and the new table is called calendar table. And the reason why organizations or Power BI projects tend to have calendar table is that in any Power BI project, you will always have a calendar table. Most of the time, because you want to do analysis of your data. And because your system is going to be interacting with multiple tables, you want to do a month analysis, you want to do quarterly analysis, you want to do, sometimes you've got to look at some organizations run on financial periods that are not your typical January to December. It could be that, okay, for example, Microsoft runs its financial year from July to June. So 1st of July 2023 will be the beginning of their financial year, and it will end sometime in June next year, 2024, the end of June 2024. So because of that, it's important that you have a calendar table that can help you with your data manipulation. Okay, so I'm going to create a new table called calendar table. Okay, so if I want to create, I'll go to my data view, for example. I mean, it's one of the ways. And if you look at from your data view, this is just showing the data of the sales register that we have on the system. But if you look up here, you will see new table. So I'm just going to click on new table to create a new table. And so again, this will introduce us to what we call DAX. The DAX is the data analysis expression language. That's the language that is used in Power BI for creating tables and manipulating the Power BI so that you can use it to do whatever you want to do. So that's the language of Power BI, DAX. It's called DAX, D-A-X. Okay, so this table, this new table that we're creating is called calendar. Calendar. Now, so on the left-hand side of the screen, your left-hand side of your screen, you put the name of the table, calendar, okay? And on the right-hand side, you write the expression of the calendar, okay? Now, this is an expression. For example, if you want to create calendar, I'm going to use calendar auto, yeah. Calendar auto, bracket open and bracket close. This is calendar auto. Now, this is a DAX expression that is saying create dates for me. create dates for me based on data that is available in my Power BI data set. So if you use Calendar Auto, it's going to look at the dates available in your sales register. That's the only table here. And look at the dates available in other tables that's in your data set. And then start a date prior to that day and a date that will go beyond the date that is in your on the tables within your data set. Okay. So it does it automatically. So so the name of the table again is on the left hand side of the screen, and the name of our table is called calendar. And then the DAX expression language is calendar auto bracket open bracket close, and then we can just say take the mark sign, and you can see it has created data from our date table is from 1st of January 2022 to whenever. But bottom line, the system understands that this sales register starts sometime in 2022. So it's taking it from the 1st of January 2022 to whenever, based on the data. I'm sure it's probably going to be 2023 or 2024. I just want to go all the way down. If we want to go all the way down, let's see. In fact, let's do something. You can right click on this. I've highlighted it and say, do it descending order. Filter descending. Okay, so you can see that it's taking the date up to 31st of December 2024 because there are some 2024 transactions in this sales register. Okay, so let's take it back to, let's do it again, say ascending. Let's change it back to ascending, and then it's jump. So one of the things I want to change the format of my dates. So I can see I've changed my date format. Okay. Now, so that's the first step. But we want to create other columns, because in our analysis, most of the time you're going to need monthly analysis of your data. Since it's your calendar, you want to create another column for month. Okay. To create the new column for month, all you need to do, you can go back to the home. Or on the other hand, okay, so you can, under your table column tools, you see new column. Okay, so click on new column, and then of course you create it. Now this column that we want to create is our month number. Month number means that January is 1, February is 2. We'll see how this applies to our data set and how it applies to our visualization when we get to that point. So we want to create month number. So I'm going to call this month number. Okay, equals again on the right hand side, we'll put our data expression. Now the expression for creating month number is month. Okay, you can see that the telesense brings it up month. Okay, and then month, open bracket, month in where? Month in dates. Okay, date is the only column we have. Then you can close the bracket. Okay, so month number for data expression, the DAX expression for it is month, open bracket, and then the square bracket, date in it, close the square bracket and close the open bracket. And then you can then, of course, tick again, and then you have your month number. So you can see that it gives you 1, 2, and all that. So January is 1, 2, 3 to 12, based on the month numbering. Okay. But okay, so we need something else. We need year. Okay. Oh, yeah. So let's do year first, then we'll do something else. Okay, so we need year. Okay. So the expression for year, because we're going to do analysis for different years, 2022, 2023, 2024. We want to do comparison of the year performance and all those things. So you need year in your calendar. Okay. So let's create a new column for year. Okay, so the column name here on the left hand side is year, while on the right hand side, the expression is year. It comes up automatically. So just pick it up, open year in what? Year from date. Okay, extract year from date. So open bracket, then the open square bracket, select date, and then close it. So it's picking the year part in this date format. So I'll just tick it. You can see the year comes up automatically. So it basically extracts the year on this date. All right. So the years we have are 2022, 2023, and 2024. Okay. So we have the month number, we have the date, we have the month number, we have the year. But I need to have the month as well. Okay. Month meaning January, February for the purpose of our analysis. So I would come here, new column. So this time I'm going to call it month. Now, the expression for month is this format. Format, okay? You can see once you try this, the IntelliSense brings it up for you to use, okay? Format what? You must always open bracket, then use the square bracket if you want to take a cut and then close it. Format, okay, so you're not closing yet, okay? What kind of format do you want to use? We want to use the month format. So MMM for months, okay? And then close it. Okay, and then once you tick that, it gives you the months. Okay, so you can see the months here. If you can see January, April, August, whatever. This is done alphabetically, but all the months are here. Okay, January is there. January, July. Okay, it's done. Okay, so, but it's possible for us to say that, look, instead of all this short form of the months, I want the full month. All you need to do is just change this format to put another M there and then tick and then see the change, okay? So it's very possible for us to change this format. Or you want to add a year to the month. So for example, I want this MMM, but yeah, Y, 4 Ys, okay? That's for year. And then tick. And you can see January 2022, and it goes on and on like that. Okay. So, I mean, if you want to do that, but so we're just going to have, you can have the full month for now, for the purpose of what you want to do. Let's have the full month. Okay. Now, what I try to also do is to make my calendar as robust as possible. So I have month now, I have year, I have month number, I have the date. I probably want to put the quarter. I want to do quarter analysis. Okay. So one of the things I would do is to add quarter to my calendar. All right. So new, and then I will add quarter here. Okay. Quarter. For you to do quarter, the DAX language is DU quarter. You can see the quarter then. Then the same way, the square bracket, put the date, and then close it. And then, so it tells you that January is first quarter, February, and so like that. So you have your quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. It will always be 4 quarters in a year. So you have the 4 quarters. Okay. So I think right now I'm done with my calendar. Okay. So what I need to do at this point is to save this. Now, so I'm saving these as my Kairos sales. Kairos sales. Kairos sales. Save. Okay, so I can come back to my visualization. So I have my calendar, I have my sales register. All right. So let's look at the tables we have. In the calendar, we have the date, we have the month, we have the month number, we have the quarter, we have the year. So the first question I want to answer right now is that, and we're going to do our first dashboard. if you look at the data set that we have the calendar, and then we have the sales register. Under the calendar, we have the date, the month number, we have the quarter and the year. Our data set is under data. On the right hand side of your screen, you will see data. Under data, you have the tables. You have the calendar tables. You have the sales register table. Under the calendar, we have different columns, 1, 2, 5 columns: date, month number, quarter, and year. Under the sales register, we have many tables as well. I mean, sales register table, we have many columns as well. So the question we're trying to answer right now is to answer the question, which product is the fastest selling product? Okay, which product is the fastest selling product? So we want to do this analysis on monthly basis. Okay, that's an option. Or we just want to have a general knowledge of the product that sells the most. Okay, so let's pick one of our, let's use the start bar chart. Okay, so I'm picking the first bar chart. Now, to pick the bar chart, all you need to do is double click on the bar chart and it comes to your screen. I'm just double clicking on it and it's on my screen. Okay, again, let me do it again. I'm using the start bar chart. I'm double clicking on it and then I have it on my screen. You can pull it down to expand it. You can extend it forward. Okay, and to expand it. Okay, so I want to know the fastest selling product in, say, a particular year. Okay, or so what is going to be on my y-axis? My y-axis will be the product name. Okay, and then on my x-axis is the now what in terms of what? In terms of the in the amount including VAT. Okay, amount including VAT. And so I have my first dashboard. It's basically as simple as that. And that answers the question, what's the fastest selling product? Okay, so if you look at this, it tells you straight away what the fastest selling product is. Just by looking at the screen, the fastest selling product is your Dove Gold 150 grams. Okay, it's as simple as this, doing the first dashboard. If you look at your screen, you probably feel that, okay, what I have on this dashboard is too small. Though I can get the information, but what I have, so I want to do some formatting. All right, to format this dashboard, what you need to do is to come to format your visual. Under the visualization pane, there's a second button called format your visual. And once I click on it, I have the visual and I have the general. Okay, so my y-axis, let's look at my y-axis. Now, under my y-axis, my font is Segoy UI. You can change that. You can change it to whatever font, but that's not my priority right now. I want to increase the size. So 9 is too small. I may want to increase it to 10 to just make it bigger. Okay, so I've changed it to 10. And you can see it's bigger. I can actually increase it to 11. But what it does is that once you increase it, that means that the space becomes too small. So you can always drag down, up and down to get, to get the full picture of what is going on. Okay. All right. So I can see that my fastest selling product is Dove Gold 150 grams. And from this visual, and the slowest selling product is Dove Silver 135 grams, I think. Okay, that's the lowest selling product. Okay, now you may also, so we can do a lot of formatting with this. All right, so I'm done with my y-axis, my x-axis as well. I can do some odd formatting as well. I don't want to do anything here, so I'm just going to close it. If you want grid lines, we don't need grid lines, but data labels. Now, if you want data labels, let's click on data labels first so that you see what this does. So if I click on data labels, you can see the figures behind my visual is now appearing on top. Okay. So the figures are appearing because I clicked on labels. So if I prefer my visualization like this, then I can just do that. All right. And so those are probably some of the things that we can look at here. There's also another format called general. Okay. Under general, you can change a whole lot of things about the visuals. Okay. This shows the height and the width of the visuals. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I don't want to change anything with the size. The position, horizontal, vertical. I mean, you can do a lot about position, padding. I don't want to do anything here. Then advanced options. Let's look at advanced options. Nothing. I don't need anything here as well. Okay, so title. I mean, you may decide to put a title. Now, if you look at this, for example, okay, so let's make the title. Let's look at the title. The title is called sum of amounts, including. Now, the title is generated by the data set, and a lot of times the data set does not fully represent the interpretation that we want to give to what we're doing. So this, the title here for me would be, say, product performance report. Okay, product performance report. Okay, so I can change the title. I can also increase the font size. Okay, so it's currently 14. I want to increase it to, say, 18. Okay, you can see the title is getting bigger. So let's say even, no, this is 7. I want to make it 20. So product performance report is there. I want to make it bold. I can make it bold. I can also underline it. Okay. And then what else do I want to do? I want to change the position. I want to make it to be central. Okay, so you can see the product performance report now. Okay. And then what else? So this dashboard basically answers the question without showing too much details, which products is doing well and which product is not doing well. Now, the data we're working with is a 3 years data, 2022, 2023, 2024. Okay, so the question you may want to ask is this. If we want to see data, this is a 3-year data, but I'm just interested in current year, which is 2023. I want a dashboard that can show me 2023 data, okay? Or I want a dashboard that can show me yearly comparison. Those are some of the things that we can do with our data. Okay, so let's do a dashboard now that can do a comparison of total sales in 2022, 2023, and 2024. Okay, we can do the dashboard in different dashboards in different ways. Okay, so we want another visual now, and a visual that will tell us the sales 2022, 2023, 2024. So we can see how we are doing as an organization. Of course, 2024 is not here. This is just for the purpose of demonstration. Okay, so I'm going to use a dashboard called area chart, or I can use a pie chart. Okay, so let's use a pie chart for now. So double click on pie chart, and then I can drag it, here. Now, what data am I trying to analyze? I want to know my sales, okay, in 3 years. I want to be able to compare 3 years, okay? And this is where the dashboard becomes important. So what value are we looking at? We're looking at sales amounts, including VAT, okay? Those are the values we are looking at, okay? Now, what details are we looking for? Yeah, so what details are we looking at? The details is the year. And then you can see 2022, 2023, and 2024. Okay, so you're seeing the sales of all your products in 2022, 2023, 2024. But if you look at this dashboard, it's showing us that more or less that all of them are equal. Indeed, let me use another dashboard that will show us this a lot easily. Okay, so let's use this one. Now, I'm just going to drag this up a bit. Okay, and so the x-axis will be my year. It comes into the year, and then amount, including VAT, will be on my y-axis. So you can see 2022, 2023, 2024 is the same thing. But it's not true that it's the same thing. It just means that there's something missing in what we're doing. And what is missing is our data modeling. You know, we have not created any relationship between this calendar table and the sales register. There's no relationship, and so the system is not able to interpret it. So where do I do this? Where do I make this correction? All I need to do is to go to where your model view is. Once you click on the model view, then you see the two tables that we have. You have the sales register and you have the calendar. There's a relationship between these two tables. And where's the relationship? The relationship is date and invoice date. That's where the relationship is. So to create the relationship, all you just need to do a drag on the date and a drag on the date and drop it on the invoice date. And then the system creates a relationship. You can see the relationship. You know, even if you click on the line connecting them, you can see that the connection is between the date and the invoice date. So a relationship is built. Okay, you can double click on the line and it will show you where it's been connected. Okay, all right. So we have been able to create a relationship between the two tables. And the relationship point is between the invoice date and the date. And then what has happened also is that if you look at the relationship, you see one on this end and you see like a star on this end. This means a one-to-many relationship. So one here to many, you can have multiple invoice dates. For 1st of January 2022 is one date here on this calendar. It can be multiple dates, that's one. But you can have multiple invoice dates of 1st of January 2022. So it's one to many relationship. And that's the best kind of relationship you can have in if you're designing a Power BI system. So you have to be mindful of that. All right, so this is our model view. So once the model view is corrected, the relationship between the tables are created. If you go back to your report view again on top here, just click on the report view and then you can see the dashboard. You can see there's really almost no sales in 2024, you know, while you have sales in 2023 and then in 20, you know. But I mean, so because we've created a relationship, I don't want to use this chart. I want to use another chart. So let me use this donut. I'll use this donut instead of the. So my value would be details would be details would be. Sorry, let's go again. Details will be year. Details is year. And then my values will be the sales. All right, so right now you can see 2024 is almost non-existent, but I know there's a little sales there just so insignificant that is not even showing. Okay, so you can see that 2023 is where you have the most sales based on this graph, and that's about 29 billion, while which is about 53%, while 2022 is about 25 billion, 40%, and then it's so insignificant. But again, let's make this chart bigger. So I can go to my format. my legend, detail labels, position of my labels is outside, that is fine. Label value percentage, yeah, that's fine. Values, let's see. Can we make it bigger? Aha. So it's coming out. So you can see now that 2024 is 0.01%. So it's so insignificant. That's why it's so small that we can't see it. You can go to the general tab as well. And let's see. Height, well, we're fine with the height. You may want to change that also. Width, we're fine with that. You can lock the ratio, position, that's fine with us. Padding, advanced option, fine with this. Okay. Again, title, let's look at the title. Title would be yearly product performance report. So, you know, we can change this title, yearly product sales analysis. Sales analysis, okay. So that's that. Do you want to divide that? No, we don't want to divide that. Spacing. Okay, I mean, I'm okay with what we have in terms of your visual now. All right, so I'm fine with this. Okay. And so we have another visual which tells us, again, what other kind of visuals do we want to see? But if you look at this sales here, is actually for a particular year. I mean, this the first one we have here, this one here, is really for the sales for 2022, 2023, and 2024. But someone may say that, look, I need 2022 alone, or I want to see 2023 alone, you know. So it's simple, okay? It's important that we highlight this particular report when we want to make those adjustments. As I said earlier, this dashboard represents all the sales in our data set, everything. So this is 2022, 2023, and 2024. But I'm saying that, look, all I'm interested in is just the current year. There are different ways you can do this, okay? You can do this by hiding a slicer, or you can do this by putting a filter, okay? Now, so what I'm going to do in this particular situation is that I'm going to add a filter, okay? And I want to filter by year. So I can do a filter here. Okay. Now, there are two options of filtering. You can filter this page, or you can filter a particular report. I want to filter a particular report. So I'm putting the year here now. Okay. And so when you click on this, and I'm just going to use basic filtering, I can select 2023 here. And then this data, the chart changes based on 2023. Okay. It changes based on 2023. Okay. All right. Now, so I'm just going to call these. Maybe I want to do another dashboard that's going to run monthly reports. Okay. I want to see my performance on monthly basis. And again, this my new dashboard is actually for monthly sales. Okay, based on quantity and not on. So I want to do quantity. I want to do 2023. So I'm not interested in amount now. I'm interested in quantity sales for my products monthly, but for a particular year. All right. So how do I do that? I need to use another chart. So I'm going to pick this chart this time around, something different from what we've been using. So I'm picking this chart. Now on my x-axis now will be my products. Okay. So I'm still going to put the product name on the y-axis. Now on the y-axis, now I'm not using amount. Now I'm using quantity. On the y-axis, I'm putting quantity. Again, the discussion is that, all right. So what I want to see is not this. What I want to see is quantity in relation to monthly sales. Okay, so that's a bit different from, and we're still going to go into some other complex dashboards, which we will do in the next slide. Okay, so I want to see product, and I want to see not product. I want to see quantity, and I want to see monthly, not the product now. So I'm going to change this now. So my x-axis will be month. Okay, my x-axis will be month, and my x-axis will be month, and my y-axis will be quantity. Okay, so this tells me the sales in terms of quantity per month. If you look at this properly, I'm going to make this the month bigger now. Let me change them. Okay, so let's just look at all the visuals. X-axis is on. X-axis is the small one. So I think this is big enough. Yeah, January 11 is fine enough because we have minimal space. So we're just going to do this. So we're looking at monthly sales now. Okay, I think I'm fine with the y-axis. We may want to add data labels. Okay, so we have our data labels, and then we may want to size our data labels so that we can see it. Okay, so so I don't want to turn too much. So basically, you can see that October is the highest sales month. Okay, but this is October for 3 years. I'm only interested in the current year. So what do I do this time around? If you know, you can send it to a chart. If you know what to do, what do we do? If what I want to do is just to look for a particular year, we have an option, and we have multiple options. Okay. Again, okay, so to help you out is filter based on the year. Okay, so this is filter month, filter quantity. So I'm going to filter based on year. Okay, so if you click on this advanced filtering, you don't want advanced filtering, you want basic filtering, and then we'll say 2023. Once you click 2023 in your filter, you can close it again. This data that you have here is just for a particular year. Okay, so that's one of the things that we can do. All right. So if you look down at the months, if you look down at the month, you see October, June, and all that. What the system has done is to arrange it on from the highest to the smallest. Okay, but most of the time, this is really not how we want to arrange our. This is not the way we want to arrange. Mostly you want to arrange based on month order. So you want to see January, February, and then on and on like that, not based on the highest to the lowest. Okay. So, and that's where the month number comes in. Okay. For you to do that, what you do is to, okay. So what you do is to highlight the months, not tick, highlight the month because we want it to order. Okay. Then you want to say sort column, not the column now. We want to sort the x-axis. Okay, so by month number. Okay, so this time, I think that I might want to use another dashboard that works with this. Okay. Sort column, yeah, by month number. Month is a okay. So we're having a little issue with this. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the kind of charts we're using. You know, but we'll look at this later. All right. So now, so the other thing to note is that in Power BI, we can have multiple pages of reports. So, for example, if you look down here, this is called page one, but we can give it a name and we can give it a say sales analysis by by period. Okay, so that's what we have. So we can just, if you click on this plus sign, you can then create another page. So if I click on the plus sign, I have another page. I can give this page another name called detailed sales analysis. Okay. Okay. Now, what do I want to do with my detailed sales analysis? So I want a report that can tell me the sales of multiple years and compare them in one dashboard. Okay, sales of multiple years. So I want year one, year two, year three, everything combined in one dashboard. Okay, so we took this chart again. Okay, you can expand it. What we're trying to do is to work with 3 years together. Okay, so on the x-axis we have the product name. Now on the y-axis we have the amount including VAT. Okay, but if you scroll down here under the visualization, it asks us to create multiples of this on a chart. And so we want a year multiple. You can do a month multiple, you can do a year multiple. So if, for example, we put a year multiple, so it's broken it down into the number of years that we have. Okay, so we have 2022, 2023, and 2024. 2024, we barely sold anything. So most of the sales actually happened in 2022 because we have a whole lot of products, so it's actually compressed, and so it's not so visible. But if you make it a full chart, you can see, you can always drag this to the side to see all the products, and all that, you can see. So this shows us different years together in one dashboard. It's a lot of data, but it gives us more insight in what is happening to each product on year-to-year basis. And you can do a whole lot of formatting to improve this. Okay. So we've actually been talking about visualization. The other thing that we're going to look at is to create measures. Okay. Now, what's a measure and what's a column? Now, in doing our data transformation, for example, we came here, we did a data transform data here, and then we were manipulating this data. Okay, and we can create new columns here. If we need a column, for example, we can create new columns here. Okay. So, for example, it's possible for us to create another column that we have the unit price here. Let me see if there's any new column that we may need. Okay, so let's assume you want to create a new column that would combine, say, our product code with our product name. You want it combined together. So basically, we are creating a system. That will create a product name and together in one column. So all I need to do, if you look up here, okay. Now, one way of doing it, there's so many ways in Power BI to do some things, but one very important way of doing this is to is to come here under add column, okay, then column from example. So if you, okay, so we're creating a column from example, all column, okay, all column. All right, so what's the example? Example will be this. Just watch what happens here. So I'm going to type FG dot POVE. That's based on the product code 004 150 grams. Yeah, and I'll put a comma there, and I'll put a little space, and then I'll put the name Dove Gold. I can't say the full thing. Dove Gold. Let me see the full name now. Dove Gold 150. You can see the system automatically understands that you're trying to match product code with product name. And then you can just say, okay. So it creates a merged column for you, okay? So I can change this. I can change the name by double clicking on it. So for you, it just all the rows, everything that is done on the first row is replicated throughout. And that's how creating a new column by example helps you. So I can change the name of this column and call it product code, product name, or code name. Call it, let's just call it code name. Yeah. Okay, so this combines product code with product name. Okay, so that is creating a new column, and it's important that we know how to do this because in real life Power BI projects, you're going to be creating columns all the time. Okay, so I can change the name by double clicking on it. So for you, it just all the rows, everything that is done on the first row is replicated throughout. And that's how creating a new column by example helps you. So I can change the name of this column and call it product name, or code name. Call it, let's just call it code name. Yeah. Okay, so this combines product code with product name. Okay, so that is creating a new column, and it's important that we know how to do this because in real life Power BI projects, you're going to be creating columns all the time. Okay, so that's actually how to create a new column, and you can create as many columns based on your requirements, on the requirements of your business. Okay, now, but there's also the possibility of creating measures. Okay, measures are basically like, they work like columns, but they're not columns. Measures help you to do certain things like total, like averages, like statistical analysis that you can use within your tables. So they're not like columns which are more or less permanent on your tables. They're just quick tools that you can use in your Power BI project, but they are not permanent in nature. But they are more of data, data and stuff like that. Okay. So, for example, instead of using our amount amount including VAT, which the system will have to total, we can create a measure, okay, that will automatically total, okay, so that we can use it at any point in time. All right. So let's look at how to create a measure. I'm going to close. You want to see how to create a measure and how to use that measure in our Power BI project. All right. So I'm just going to close this. whatever changes that you have made, it has to be applied. Okay, so it's being applied. Okay. Now, so if you look up here, this is where the rate measure, and the process is more or less a way, and I'll call it total amount. Okay. And so that's my measure. Okay, and so to create the measure is going to be total year to date of amount okay no Mm. Let's- okay okay, so is the sum of this, yeah, so is the sum of this and bracket close. So again, so if I'm creating a total amount, I'm creating a total amount measure, and is a sum of this sales register table. Okay, this sales register table, this amount including, so you have to indicate the table, which is sales register, and then the field, which is the column amount including VAT. Of course, you must always use this open square bracket, and then they close it, and then use the ultimate close bracket to close it. Okay, so with this, you can then just tick, and then you will see that total amount in your in alphabetical order. RSTUT. No, it's not there. Oh, sorry. I actually put it somewhere else. It was indicated here. I'm going to delete it and put it where it's supposed to be. So I'll delete the measure because I delete from order. Yes. So we've created two dashboards. So we're going to create one more. So I can create another page now. I want to create another page now. Click on the plus sign. I'm clicking on it, but it seems to be hanging. So let me click on the plus sign again. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'm just doing total sales now. Total sales analysis. Okay. Or total sales movement. Total sales movement. Okay. And I want to use month on month movement for a particular year. Okay, so I want to use area chart. I want to do start area chart. Okay, so let's use our okay. So let's use our start area chart this time around. Okay. And then so on my x-axis will be my months this time, months, okay? Okay. And my y-axis will be my amount. So instead of using this amount, I'm going to now use this total. Okay. Okay. So this shows is a chart. So I'm stacking it with. So what it's doing is that you're looking at January. Let's make this bigger. We're looking at January 2022, 2023, 2024. Then you list, then start with February, February 2022, 2023, and 2024. Okay. And then April 2022, 2023. There's no sales in April for 2024. May 2022, 2023, June 2022, 2023, and all that. Okay. And so, I mean, these are the stacking of your dashboards. Let's do something else. Let my I want to make this visuals. Okay, so let's do something else. I need this to be bigger. We've done all that before, so I'm just going to quickly do this. In fact, I want a title. Let's look at the properties, height, and I'm fine with the height. Size, height, and width. You can log that ratio if you want. Okay, position, that's fine with me. Padding is fine. Advanced option, title. There's a title. I want to change the title to monthly, yearly sales movement. Okay, sales movement. Yeah. All right. Okay. So this just shows you what happens in January, what happens in February. Our best months tends to be around, consistent months tends to be around June. Okay. December is fine. October is good as well. There's a dip in November, and all that. But again, let me just remove the, let me remove the monthly. Let me remove the yearly. So let's just look at monthly, okay? And I just want to look at just one particular year. So what do? I will, let's filter for year. So I want to remove the year actually. Let's go back. Let's come back here. So I want to remove the year just to make it neater. Okay. But I'm going to also remove 2024 and 2022. So we're just focused on 1 year. Okay. Now, okay. So again, so this report is monthly, but it's showing us 3 years. Another way we can, focus on a particular year and remove the other years that we don't need is by using slicer. Now, what we have done right now is to say that this is a 3-year report of sales, okay? But we're only interested in current year. Now, we don't want to use filter. We can easily bring the filter of the year and select the year that we want. But this time around, we want to use a slicer. And so we can come here and look for a slicer. Now, coming here, talking about visualization, these are visuals, visualization. These are visuals that we're using to do our dashboards, and we're taking different dashboards here. But there are lots much more than what you find here. If you look at these 3 dots here, you see, if you just look at it, it will over on top of it, you see get more visuals. So click on it, and then you can see import a visual from a file, remove a visual, restore a visual. So get more visual, we'll click on that. Now, usually you're going to have to put in an email. You would have actually created an account with Microsoft. So I'm just going to put an email that I've already created. So it@ascentree.tech and say continue. You'll be required to put in the password. Okay, this account here. Continue. Okay, so I'm not required to put a password because I've actually been opening this account. So if you're doing it for the first time, you probably have to create an account and then use it. So if you can't follow, this video will always be there. You can always go back to it and then, get some of, and try it again on your own. Okay, so I'm looking for a slicer that I can use, a slicer that I can use to slice the months or the years, actually, not the months. There are a lot of slicers here, I think over 1,000 or something. So I'm looking for a slicer. Let me search for a slicer, say date slicer. Date. So let's see what we have for date slicer. Timeline, I'm considering this timeline slicer. Okay, so let's see if there's something better. A slicer for timeline. No, I think I will use this timeline slicer. Okay, so all I need to do is double click on it. It's loading. Yeah, so it just basically tells me about it. It's a Microsoft Corporation slicer, and then add. I can't see. Okay, so I can see it now. Import successful. Okay, so now I can put this slicer. Okay, now the two things now. Now this slicer, you see that is under the 3 dots, means that this slicer is going to be used temporarily, and then it's just going to be used on these visuals. Okay, but if you want it to be permanent, all you need to do is to right click the slicer and say pin to visualizations pin. So if I click on that, it's going to take a little while. Okay, so you can see it here now. Okay, so if I need to use it, all I need to do is double click on it. Oh no, a mistake. Again, I made a mistake because my visual was highlighted and I now double clicked on another visual. So if I want to change that, all I need to do is undo. You can see the undo button on top here. It's also available for you to use. So I can undo what I've done and I go back to my chart. So if I need to bring in another visual, I cannot highlight this. This is highlighted. You can see the highlight on the sides, the curved, and this shows that it's highlighted. So I need to click out into the work area. Okay. Then I can now click on this, double click on this timeline. Okay. So you can drag it and drop it. Okay. So I want to use the timeline. You can make it narrow and then put it there. Okay. Timeline. Add data field. Okay, so what timeline do I want to use? I want to use year. Not sure year works with this timeline. Timeline, drill through across reports. Oh, let me see, quarter. This timeline does not seem to be working properly the way. I see the date. Okay, seems like, okay, so let's look at the dates now. Okay. (2022 to 2024). Can we make it bigger? Hmm. Hmm. January 21, 2022. Q1 2022. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I need to bigger, see what we can do with this slider. Oh, okay. So, okay. So, okay. So it's actually a fantastic slicer, really. Um, okay. So this is a slicer. So what this slicer does is basically that you can move, and I put a date there. So you can move from, if I want to see 2022 or I want to see 2024, can I expand through? Yeah, I can see the 3 years. Then, but I can reduce to whichever year I want. So I can drag it and just focus on 2022. Okay, so I actually put my, but it's showing me, so this is 2023 to 2023. So you can, I mean, so that's what the slicer does also, which is more like what your filter will do, but this allows you, and this is an integral part of your report design. Okay. So, all right. So we're doing 2023 and we're using a slicer. And so the question someone will ask is that if I want this, I don't want this slicer to be permanent, then I can do what? I can unpin it. Okay. Do you want it to cross report on or off? Okay. So you can decide to, you know, to cross report. Okay, and so if I expand this, okay, so let's look at this, for example, is 7 billion. Okay, and so let's change our slicer, cross report for the 3 years and see what happens to this. Okay, so it only affects the report, that you're working with. Okay, all right. So, okay, so again, this helps you to slice and dice your reports based on yearly and based on the data we put there. Okay, so that's the beauty of the slicer. All right, so there are other things that we need to look at before we close. There's something called themes and colors, okay? And themes and colors is just about presentation, It's not about but the look and feel of your report is very important. And that's why the business analyst also has to have a feel of, look, who are you communicating with and what kind of colors, what kind of mix of colors would you want to use in your communication? All right. So theme and color, theme, colors, feel, look and feel, they are very important. So let's look at this. So if you want to change your colors, you want to change the look and feel of your report, so you can create a view. Go to your view. And so if you go to your view, you will see this list. These are the ones that have been created for you that you can select from. Okay. Also, the system allows you to create custom views. Okay. Custom views that you can then use, in your reports. So I'm going to change this, for example, make use of one of the views that are available. You can see this has changed totally the view. It's changed this view. Sorry, I'm here. So I mean, there are other ones you can. Well, we're going to try and create a custom one. But let's look at let's see the ones that gives us what we want. I can change to this. I can change to this, and then the look and feel differ based on whatever it is you want to change and the way you want to communicate with the people involved in your organization. All right, so let's create a custom view. Okay, so to create a custom view, go down. You've got to scroll down, then see customize current view. You want to customize it. You want to create your own view. Now we're talking about the visualization, the themes, and all that. So what we're trying to do is to create a custom theme. Okay. So I might want to call this my custom theme. Let me give it a name. Okay. All right. So for this particular theme, I want theme colors will be what? Maybe I want to use purple. And you can see, you can play around with the colors such that you can apply that color, color 1, color 2, So you can play around with the colors, I mean, this is not my forte though. Play with the colors, play around with the colors that you want to use. Okay. So it has variations, a whole lot of variation in colors. Okay. And then I can apply whatever color change. And then it changes this. I'm not sure this is changing, but this is not the biggest strength. So, but I'll basically just stick to this. Okay. I mean, and then this is enough for me to make the necessary changes I want to make on my Power BI. Okay. You have enough variations that you can use, to change the look and feel of your Power BI. There's also an interesting tool that you can use as a slicer, and it's called the play axis. Now, this is a play axis. It's called play axis. Play axis, if you look at your Power BI, is not available there. The play axis will not be on your system by default. It will not be on your system by default. So the same way I brought this slide at the timeline was the same way we brought this play axis. So I'm just going to add play axis. Okay, so my play axis is here. And so what do I want to do with the play axis? I can tell play axis to give me monthly movement just to show, and it just makes it interactive. You can see that it's like a play. So for example, if I start to play this, you can see what it's doing is to show the dots. It's very small, show the dots for different months. So let me play again. January, March, April, May, June, July. It just shows by dots each position of throughout the month. Might not be very visible here. Let me use it on another chart that it will show and it will be very visible. So let's use play axis here on this chart. So I'm trying to make this smaller so that I can see space to put the play axis. In fact, it might just be okay for me to put it. Okay, so let's put the play axis here. Not can be there. Make it smaller. Okay, so but I don't want year in my play axis, so I'm removing year and I'm putting month. Okay, so now I'm using month for my play axis. So what this play axis will do is to show the, it makes it interactive such that it's showing the movement on a monthly basis. Okay, so let's start the play axis. Wow, okay, so let's start again. November, December, month. Now start again. January, February, you can see the movement. Okay, so you can see it just shows you, makes the dashboards very interactive. Okay, so makes that very interactive. So you can always use play axis, and you can play it and stop at whatever month you want. So for example, I want to stop in March. March seems to be one of the best performing months. It's pretty obvious from what we can see here. March, stop. No, March is not so that. April, May. Okay. January, February, March, April, May, June. June was good. It was a good month. All right. So again, this helps you to make it more interactive. Um, if you look at this sales report, for example, you can see the sales monthly because we told the system to show us these values on our dashboards. So you're not just seeing the chart, but you're seeing also the figures that is represented. All right. But tooltip really goes beyond what you have here. You can have a tooltip report page, that can show indicators so that when you glove around a particular report, just like this is showing now, this is what we call a tooltip. You can see the product name and you can see the amount. I think it's about 7 billion. So if you do this for another product, you see the amount and it goes on and on and on and on for all the products that you have on the system. Okay. I don't know, did you filter this? Okay, so we filtered this for 2023. So yeah, so this is fine. All right, so we can create a totally different page for tooltips and let that tooltip applies across the reports that we have designed. Okay, so I can add another report to it, and I can change this name to tooltip. Okay, now, okay. So I've given it a tooltip. So I have a page. This spelling seems to be wrong. I have a report page for tooltip. Okay. Now it's important that you define this page as a tooltip. All right. So let's page information tooltip. Allow use as tooltip. You have to turn it on. So once you turn it, you can see the small box that you created. So it's just telling you that this is a tooltip. page. This page is really for tooltip, allowed to be used as tooltip. Okay, so if I want to create a tooltip page, for example, and I need I'm looking for I don't want a multi-row for my tooltips card. So let me put a card here. Okay, so I'm using this card for my tooltip. Okay, and so what do I want in my tooltips? I want to see total amount. I'm going to minimize. I don't want this to be everything. Okay. Tooltip is saying 54 billion. Okay. So automatically is no. This is not okay, so let's deal with this tooltip. Let's make it smaller. Title. We're fine with the title. Effects, header, tooltips. Is it the page is the tooltip on its own? Visual, shape, color, cards. Apply setting cards, yeah. General, properties. Position. Okay, so we're fine with position, advanced. I'm good with advanced. All right, so let's go to title. No, I don't want title. Effects, background. Okay, so let's look at background. What background do we want? Okay, color. Okay, that's the border because I want to make it smaller. Transparency is usually 0. You can, okay. Okay, so you can define the transparency, but it's usually 0. So I can just leave it like this. Visual borders, but it's not, is 100%. Can't seem to do anything with this one. Shadows, we don't want shadows. Head icons, tooltips, yeah. I wonder, okay, so is there anything else I can put there on my tooltip? Let me see. Location. Okay, so let's put locations on my tooltip. So let's put location on my tooltip. Okay, so yeah, so sum of quantity, okay, and then we have all that in our with our tooltips, okay. Okay, so so that's that for tooltip. Now the last part of this is the okay. is the phase 4 is the data sharing phase. Okay. Now, all the things that we have been doing is on our desktop. All right. If, for example, you're connected to, say, a database like SQL database, or even an Excel sheet that has been updated regularly, for you to get an updated data on this system, it's important that you do a refresh. Okay. Now, for I'm going to remove this now because it seems to be affecting some. Okay. Okay. So you have to do a refresh every time, so that you can. But of course, you can automate this process if it's a direct query in SQL. If it's a direct query in SQL, there's a limit to the level of transformation that you'll be able to do on the data coming from SQL. Okay. But if it's not a direct query, then it can be a job. That means creating a job on SQL that can always do that. Then you can define when the job will run. That job can run maybe in the evening, maybe when the system is not being used. So sometimes some people will say, look, let the job run around 9 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 midnight, and all that, and the job runs and the new data populates the Power BI. So you can always have that. And so that's how you can. But if not, if you're not making it automatic, then you would have to always do a refresh to get an updated data every time. Okay. Of course, this is an Excel sheet. We're not updating the data. So we're just going to have it the way it is. Okay. So nothing changes. Okay. Now, the other thing is that you've got to share this data with people. Okay. And to share with people, that's where the Microsoft service becomes applicable. The Microsoft service is online. We talked about the Power BI flow, which is from the Power BI desktop to the Power BI service. Okay, and from the Power BI service to the Power BI service clients and mobile. Okay, so a lot of the design work is done on the Power BI desktop and can also be done on the Power BI service. And from the service, you define the people you're sharing this data with, and the report with. And of course, you can also put security at the service level so that different people are only able to see different things. So for example, this is a 3-page report, but you can even define the level of access different people have to this. But that's another training entirely, which we don't have the time to go into today. All right. So to share these reports, what you have to do is to publish it. Publish here. And of course, it's not going to show me, because if you're going to publish, you must have an account, the Power BI service account, and of course you're going to now you must have actually interfaced this by putting that the account email and the account password here before it can upload. So once you say save, then it just basically saves it. Now, the service I'm using, the report is my workspace. So it's asking me to select that. What it's doing is that it's going to replace the reports on that and then change it to this. So if I go to my service, okay, so got it. So if I go to my service now, all right, so again, so this is the Microsoft Power BI service. And let's go to my workspace. And so I have a whole lot of report on my workspace. So Kairos sales, this is the one that and then so you can see all the reports, on different pages. and the navigation is a lot easier and better on the service. Okay, and so again, that's really all we have for you today. Thank you very much, and have a lovely day ahead.